Hi, this is Danielle, and welcome to Stronger Roots. We have a very special guest today. I wanted to go ahead and introduce you. Her name is Diana DeMe how do you say her name?
DeMeo.
DeMeo. There we go. She is a bankruptcy paralegal and a content creator who shares raw, unfiltered insights on motherhood, family estrangement, and resilience after divorce. She speaks openly about co-parenting with a narcissistic ex, supporting her youngest daughter through college, and the heartbreak estrangement from her oldest daughter. Diana's platform gives voice to the unspoken realities of parenting, healing, and starting over at midlife. So thank you so much for being on Stronger Roots.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So I want to start out by kind of just defining what estrangement is and what parental alienation is, because I think sometimes people get those two confused. Estrangement is when there is a breakdown in parent-child relationship with little to no contact. The child believes that they were either mistreated, neglected, abused, or deeply hurt by that parent. And parental alienation is when a child rejects a parent due to influence. So, like manipulation, coercion from the other parent. So, Diana, I just want to thank you so much for being here today. Can you start to share a little bit about your journey and what really inspired you to begin speaking about what's kind of gone on in your life with your daughter?
Yes, in 2018, I decided to separate and I wanted a divorce from my my ex-husband. And prior to that, about 7 years prior, I had found out he had all these affairs, and I tried to make it work, did the counseling and all. So my oldest daughter at the time was kind of aware because she was like 12 when this first started happening. So she overheard things
Mhm.
and she knew what was going on. So right after my father had passed away, I decided, I'm not living like this anymore. And I wanted more. I didn't want to have to deal with that again, like midlife, if he did do it again, like, because he did it our whole marriage. I was just tired of it. And it wasn't a good precedent to set with my children. So I decided to move on from that. And once that started, I could feel the tension. Like we had to coexist because of COVID. He couldn't get out of the because everything just stopped. That was like 2 years of pure hell. And then when he did move out of the house, he he was very sweet at first, like they always are. And then little by little, there was just small, subtle like signs. When I look back now, I can see how she undermined me, things like that. And it just progressively, like we tried therapy once together. She was in therapy for the divorce and everything, but her and I tried it one time and we talked about things. But when it was my time to talk, she wasn't really interested, which was fine. So, but then, I just thought it was like a transition out of the blue. Then just one day we celebrated Mother's Day and she was done. And it just, it took me a long time just to it was so surreal.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It feels so unnatural,
Yes.
there's something about it, especially when we grow up in a culture about Mother Bear. Like Mother Bear
Yes.
protects, her cub.
Right.
She's always around her children. And you said after Mother's Day, was there anything that happened during that time or anything, or was it just kind of like just cut off, no explanation or anything?
Well, she was spending, well, okay, let me back up. I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself. She actually, when we weren't even divorced yet, we were still we were still in the process of getting divorced. One day, like we had a little bit of an argument, and it was always like I was always emotional because I was always just reacting to him, like all the things he did. Like he was always calm and he always made me look like I was crazy, I
Mm.
swear.
Yeah.
So I think that had an effect on our relationship when I look back.
Hmm.
And then one day when I was at work, I saw my ring camera kept on going out, like off, and it was her taking things out. So she wouldn't answer the phone. So I asked her sister to call her, and she told her that she was moving out, and that was it. So I was devastated.
Hmm.
And that was like June. We did not talk at all. I tried reaching out, it didn't work. Come December, that December, she did reach out to me, and we did start seeing each other again.
Hmm.
And then come May, we had her birthday, we had her college graduation, and we had Mother's Day, and then I was cut off again
Hmm.
out of the blue. So no, we went to the movies the day before, and the next day we went to lunch, and that was it.
Wow.
And
It,
I've since like like we had a little bit, like she would text me like Happy Mother's Day once in a like one time or Happy Birthday, but it's that we're going on almost 3.5 years now.
mhm.
So
Yeah. Um, how have you like been able to come up with the courage to start sharing like your truth of what happened to you?
because I'm just tired. I'm tired of being quiet about things. Like I lived in a marriage where I didn't even know I was manipulated till after I got out, really. I
Hmm.
didn't even see it. And I just was yes to everybody. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm tired of it. And I felt so isolated and alone going through this because nobody understands what you're doing, like how it feels unless you're going through it. I
Yeah.
don't care like what any you could say I can imagine, but it's just it's a unique I don't even know how to describe it. So
Hmm.
I just want to let I just wanted to I was tired of being quiet and I don't want anybody else ever feeling that like they're alone, like there's nobody there for them.
Right. Right. Yeah, there is like already kind of built-in shame from
Yes,
this, you know,
it is. It's
because
embarrassing.
yeah, I mean, it does feel very embarrassing because you're thinking that you're being judged by so many people, you know,
And you are being judged.
right, right. And people, you know, often can't comprehend what has made a child turn against them. Like I think when we grew up, I'm only speaking for myself, you know, I think, you know, our parents would often, you know, make us mad or you would have arguments with your parents or
Right.
whatever. And there were times where, you know, you would storm off and just, you know, whatever, I'm living my
Right.
life, I'm doing my
Yeah.
own
But you
thing.
didn't like,
Yeah, you
act
did.
on it.
Right. You know, went off and you blew off steam and then you came back around like a couple days
Right.
later or the next day or whatever. And but there was always it was anchored. You always knew that you
Yes.
had an anchor and a connection to your parents and a certain type of respect that you had for your parents. But I think what is different in these types of situations is alienating and estrangement behaviors often start way before it actually you're cut off, you
I
know.
believe that. Yes.
I've had a lot of people that I've talked to and things that I've read. Some, you know, there are those estrangements that happen, you know, hey, I didn't like your political views,
Right.
whatever,
Right.
I don't want to hang out with you. You know, and those types of things. There's all kinds of different weird situations that go on, but um, you know, there is like this culture that now that is happening around us. And it's very much like cut off your parents if you don't agree with them, cut off your parents.
Exactly. Like it gets to where you're walking on eggshells.
Right, right, right.
And I felt that I mean it's odd you said that because I did feel that coming like certain things we would talk about. I'm like, oh, but like it's like they have this imaginary boundary that like I don't even know what I said, and it's oh, you're done. Like that's it.
Right. Well,
Like
and also that they kind of hold you to this high standard of, you are unable to mess up as a human mother, right? Like you're supposed to be above it all, and you hurt me and you traumatized me, or you did this or you did that, and you ask for real life, like, what did I do so I can take responsibility?
Right. And
I would
fix
love,
it.
I would love
Right.
to be in therapy. I would love to go to therapy. I would pay for it, all those types of things.
Right.
Um, but it's never taken up on because there just is like this, you have to be more than human. You have to be godlike in order
Right.
to appease someone. And I think that's what's really hard is like I'm never going to be able to live up to that standard. I'm a human mother who this happened to her or whatever.
Right.
So jumping back, is there any type of like warning signs that you can think of that maybe you missed early on? Like you talked about maybe being undermined it,
Yes,
with
that comes to mind, like little things. Because once her father, like I I have the house now, and I did things different than her dad, and she just did not like that. Like it
Mhm.
had to be dad's way or no way. And I'm like, I pay the bills now. It's not your, it's our house. It's not your father's house. And it started with those little things. Like
Right.
I constantly felt like I was being scrutinized and put under like every little thing. I don't know if she was going back to her dad and they were discussing it. I don't know. I
Mhm.
know that, and then I'm trying to think, like loyalty pools, like towards her dad more. It was, and I really never, I tried never to say anything bad about their dad in front of them. Like they kind of know how their dad is, and it's their dad. So nothing good's gonna come of that. I don't blast it on social media, believe it or not. Like I never put anything private on Facebook.
Right.
And it just I don't understand. I just know that it's her choice and I didn't have a say in it and there's nothing I can do. I just
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Um, how has this estrangement or alienation changed you as a mother?
It made me, well, it made me stronger for sure.
Mhm.
Because I don't think you realize how strong you are until you go through it.
Right.
You literally, but it made me also, um, I'm sorry, my dog's barking.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
It made me, well, after I second guessed every single thing, every conversation I had, it made me realize I'm not crazy
Yeah.
because I really thought I was going crazy
Mhm.
and that I still love my daughter. Like a lot of like I have people commenting on some of my videos, like they're done. I don't know if I could ever be done. My door's always cracked, but
Mhm.
I did everything I could. If she wants to come back, then that's her choice.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to there is a variation of people who are very much cut off from their child and they want
Yes,
no type of
I
connection.
understand. Right.
They have been hurt so many times that their connection is like, I don't want anything to do with my
To
child.
protect their peace, their heart, everything. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's other people who along this journey are like, hey, if they ever come back when they want to, I'm ready to repair, you
But
know,
we don't know what that looks like. It could
right.
be better, it could be worse. I have no idea. That's a whole nother, like,
Yeah.
a whole nother realm. I have no, like, I don't even know.
And I spoke with someone who said if I did ever kind of repair with my child, that it would have to go through a third party. Like we would have to have a therapist in the room
That's a
so
good
that
idea.
it's a good way to be able to be heard and it doesn't fall into patterns of abuse again where you're screaming at me, you're cussing at me, you're saying this type of thing about me, and there's a real pathway of healing. But both
Right.
but both parties really actually have to want to have that because if
Exactly.
one person is doing all the
The work,
the reaching out, hey, I really miss you, I love you, I want to be with,
it's not going to
all this
work.
stuff, it's not going to work because
No,
the other person, there's a power imbalance of that, right?
exactly.
And I think a lot of times you set yourself up for failure. You're wanting this connection to your child. Who doesn't? But you also have to make sure that it's a respectable connection. And
Right. Like you have boundaries yourself.
right,
Correct.
right. Because after you go through something like this, you do build yourself back differently.
You have,
And
you're not the same. You're not the same
no,
person.
no, no, you're not. And I think that's the hardest part about it is like they're still wanting you to be that same person, and
Yeah.
unfortunately you're not, and
You
you
don't go
can't.
through that kind of pain and be the same person.
Exactly, exactly.
No.
And that pain, what did that pain look like for you? Like how did you manage that? Because in the very beginning of that stage, when you were kind of like you went to the movies, you left and you're like expecting to see your daughter next week or whatever it was, and all of a sudden she's moving out and there's nothing more from her. How did
Um,
you deal with that pain?
I was like a zombie for probably 4 months, like just crying and doubting and blaming. And I don't even really remember, to be honest with you, because it's just like I had my younger daughter, I had to show up for her. So she was like everything. Like I, would have to take her to school or her friend's house, and I would hold it together and then like bawl my eyes out on the way home.
Hmm.
So, and it's funny because I think too, the pain can be physical, like you physically hurt.
Hmm.
And I don't think people understand how painful that is. Like it's everything. It's physically, it's mentally, it's emotionally. And I just was worried about my youngest daughter like seeing me that way. So I really tried not to put it in front of her. But some days it was rough. The
Yeah.
pain, like it's just like mental torture. I don't even know. Like there are just no answers.
Hmm. I think one of the ways that they describe it is as a ambiguous loss.
That's
And there is no closure. There's not like if someone died,
hmm
there's closure. And as painful as that is, that death is, it's closure and you know that there's not, you know,
right. There's a finality to it.
there's right, right. But ambiguous loss is like you are walking along this life and you know that you have a child out there
And
and
they don't want you.
they don't want any kind of connection with you, which is very
Right.
painful. And it's traumatizing to you because you do, like you said in the beginning stages, you self-doubt yourself. What could you have done differently? Did I, because the reality of it is that you're a mom, you're a human mom living with human dynamics. And there's a lot of things that children see, and there's a lot of things that they don't see.
hmm
And are you able to hear me or am I freezing out?
You froze out for a second, but you're good.
Okay. Um, and so there's a lot of things that children can see and a lot of things that children don't see. And, we try to like live our life also, and we're healing through pain and trauma and this and that alongside of our children. And we don't always get it right. We don't always
No.
get it. And I think that's where like the grace comes in for, like we have grace for our parents. My parents, didn't always do things perfectly, but you also give them grace and you give yourself grace.
Well, because we're all bringing our own hurt and everything into our
Right,
lives. Like I don't care. There's not one perfect family ever.
right.
There's all kinds of dysfunction.
Yeah,
And I never pretended to be a perfect parent. In fact, I told my kids I'm not perfect. So,
yeah,
like, tell me what it is. At least tell me what it is, even if I can't fix it.
yeah.
That way I know.
Right. Well,
That's
and that you know, and that you can either, like, hey, let's go to therapy. If there's some kind of communication that I'm missing that you're
right.
explaining to me that I'm not getting, let's go to like a third party and try to work it out. But when you refuse to do that, there's something else going on, right?
Right. That's what I mean. Like, if like, let me know, even if I can't fix it, because she doesn't want me to fix it. Do you see what
Right.
I Right. So
Yeah.
but at least I would know.
Hmm.
It's the not knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's like that's the painful part of it is like the not knowing part of it. And I think
Yeah.
that's why we have really made it kind of our mission to give voices to people that are struggling in the shadows. Like they're over here, doing their content or doing their website and they're talking about their story and it's kind of like, you know, we're all kind of going through this and we're not understanding what's happening here. Is it a shift in culture that we are disposable as parents now? We put our blood, sweat, and tears in raising children that we thought were respectable, and that they respected us. But now, something's changed where it's like, you know what, mom's just whatever, or dad's just whatever,
I
and
don't, right. I don't know. Like sometimes I think, is it the everybody gets a trophy thing? Is
yeah,
it entitlement? Is it social media? Sometimes in my head, I'm like, sometimes kids or young adults, they don't expect it to go this far. Like they didn't know, like they took it too far and they don't know how to come back. Like they,
right.
you know what I mean? Like they're embarrassed or their pride or they're just like, oh, I don't know. It's easier just to stay away now. It's so bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Right. I can't imagine um living without choosing to live without a parent.
I know. I mean, I lost my dad. I still have my mom. And, of course we have issues, but I would never not see my mom. Like it
Mhm.
just what it's, and that's how I feel like I raised my daughters. And
Yeah.
I have, my oldest who did what she did, and then my youngest is like so different. And she can't like, and that's something, if I can bring it up, is people don't talk a lot about the siblings that are lost in it.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, like my youngest, she lost out on so much. She lost out on all these memories, the
Mhm.
being, even though she does see her sister still, which I'm so grateful for. I don't want her not to have a relationship with her sister. Like that's because I can't imagine my life without my sister.
Yeah.
And the fact that she has to like have one life with me and a separate life with her dad and her sister, it's just
Mhm.
not fair.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just not fair. I feel so bad for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have this fear that I'm afraid like I'm going to say something and she's going to just do what my other daughter did and cut me off.
Hmm.
And she's even come to me and said, "Mom, I'm not her. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not her." And I feel bad that it came to that, but she's right. She's not, and I always have to remind myself of
Right.
that.
Right.
She's
Right.
her own person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you have different children and they respond differently. And,
Exactly.
the children that do have contact with you, you do kind of hold your breath a little bit and
Yeah.
say, oh my gosh, I'm so,
Afraid.
yeah,
Right.
afraid in a lot of ways, because but then it's like if you live your life in that way,
It's
it's just
it's exhausting.
it is exhausting. And then you talk about the growth that has to happen in order for you to be okay with knowing what you deserve in life and knowing that um if they want to walk out of your life, they can walk out of your life and you're still
Right.
going to be okay, you know?
That's a good point because that's one of the things I've learned is I'm going to be okay by myself.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to I just want to raise my children to be, independent, happy people that contribute to society and that they want to come and visit me and spend time with me. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't live through my children. I
Right.
enjoyed all their stages. But yes, that's exactly,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's and I think also we compare to, this is a kind of a different topic, but we compare so much of our life to what's going on in other people's life and their
Mhm.
dynamic. Social media is great for connecting people, but it also is very harmful in a lot of ways because, you're thinking back to, my gosh, look at how great this person has with their child. And, look at this is happening here with this person. And what did I do wrong? And it goes back to self-blame. And that road gets you nowhere, right?
Exactly.
You've been down that road. I've been down that road. What could I have done differently? And it boils down to the fact of, radical acceptance. They always talk about that term of radical acceptance of
Yeah.
what is happening, and it's
Yeah.
like you may not like what's happening, but you have to accept it. And in order to, accept it that, this is happening and you don't know when it's going to end. You don't know
No,
when, how, whatever it's going to end or whatever, you just
exactly.
have to take it for what it is.
We have no control over it at all. We can only control how we respond to it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I think coming from, women growing up, we were kind of conditioned to be people pleasers. We
Yes,
want
yes.
to make everyone around us happy.
And you get lost, right?
You get lost in yourself. And I think there's a midlife shift that happens that you discover you go through a divorce, you go through this or that, and
And you're not right. You're not giving
yeah,
up your time like for
right.
anything. Like it has to mean something. I
Mhm.
agree.
Yeah, yeah, you really have to shift into a different person. And that person that you become is someone who's very boundaried, someone who's very healthy, and is able to look at something and say, you know what, this is not for me. I'm not going to tolerate this type of thing. Like if
Right.
you're going to be, abusive towards me or do this type of thing, then I don't want you in my life, and
Right.
those are the kind of things that you kind of have to set for yourself. But I wanted to ask you, how is it? We talked a little bit about having, two children, and on one side of your hand, you're, grieving this relationship with your daughter. And then on the other side, you're nurturing this relationship with your daughter. And how has that been able, like, how are you able to walk that line? I mean,
Compartmentalize a lot.
yeah, yeah.
I have to like, if I'm gonna have it, if I know I'm having a bad day, I have to like keep it, keep it tidy until later on, and then I can deal with it in the shower where I cry or in the car.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I'm in a good place now. Like I've done all the work. I've done the therapy.
Mhm.
I've I've you know, I've opened myself up. I've tried everything and I feel like myself now. Like there's not like I've accepted it. Not
Mhm.
that I don't have bad days still. I do. Sometimes it comes out of the blue and kicks me right in the stomach, but it doesn't take long to recover like it did before. Like I would be in the bed after that. Now I can take a minute and go on with my day.
Isn't it funny? I think that we all have the same very similar like healing paradigm. When this
Mm,
happens, it knocks us down and we're just completely annihilated by what
right.
happens. And now that we've done the work and things like that, it's able to recover. Like these things don't knock us down and we're going to
Yeah.
be okay no matter what happens. If they choose to be in our life or they don't
Exactly.
choose to be in our life, life still goes on.
Right. And the fact it's not my choice. So there's nothing like that's what gets me. It's not my choice. So I'm choosing to be a better me,
Yeah,
uh, surround myself with people who want to be in my life
right.
and spend, work on, spend the time with my younger daughter and my family. I mean, that's all I can do.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Many parents blame themselves when like this estrangement happens. You talked about therapy and all that kind of stuff. How have you been able to kind of release that blame? Like you just
I, I
anything was there anything like exercise that you did or writing it out in the journal or how
I did a lot of writing, excuse me, and a lot of burning the letters I wrote, or like to me that's very therapeutic
yeah.
to get it out, to put it out in existence, and then to burn it or shred it. That's what I did. My faith, a lot of praying actually,
Hmm.
things like that. Just I've really spent a lot of time concentrating on trying to be grateful for things every day when I woke up, more grateful,
Hmm.
things like that to get me in a better headspace,
Hmm. Yeah.
happy. I have my family, I have a job, I have a home, like simple things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It strips you down to make you like repair yourself
You don't
and
have a
really,
choice.
yeah, I mean, truly, you don't have a choice.
No.
It's like, I kept saying for a long time, I'm in a growth season of, changing and modifying who I am and becoming a better version of who I want to be,
Right.
And I think when you're in a marriage that is not good for you, there's a lot of things that you have to break. You have to, see things and heal things that you never thought you'd have to heal
No. I
and
don't. Right.
really make yourself, boundaries. What was boundaries, before divorce? Most of
Exactly.
us
There
didn't
weren't.
have that,
Right.
most of us didn't have that, and so you learn about yourself and rediscovering yourself. So I think it feels like a midlife shift that really is good for you,
Yeah, especially after the divorce, you have like this freedom, but you don't really know what to do with it.
Right, right, right. It's like you're drop kicked into a new universe, and it's like, okay, so now what do I do? Oh, that's right. Now I have to go do all the healing, that I couldn't push back.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's wild.
it is wild. It is wild. But I think it's more you're coming into your own as a woman. Like there's nothing that anybody can say to me anymore. Like things always used to hurt my feelings or things,
Right.
I
Yeah.
was always crushed by this or that. And I think you just become more of a better rooted version of yourself to where you become like whatever you want to say about me, that's your on you. Like
Exactly.
I'm
You
okay
don't
with
care what people think of you, just as,
right.
I just care what my daughter thinks of me and my family. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
Really, like strangers, they don't know my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, your platform gives voice to, strangers. And how has that been received? Are you getting messages from people like, you know what, if you were a better mom, or if you would have done this, or, how do you deal with, because there are those keyboard warriors that are
Oh
in
yeah,
social
dude.
media who,
I've only been doing this. I gave myself a month and I just actually got my analytics back from TikTok
uh-huh,
and um they told me that there'll be a month on on October 5th that I've been doing my platform. I've had over 92,000 views of my stories,
wow,
which is I wasn't expecting that.
that's wonderful. That's
Yeah,
really
so I'm
wonderful.
happy like people are like it's resonating, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of hate, a lot of exactly what you just said, but I feel like, I did my work. You're not going to change you're not going to change the fact that of my story. Like it's not one size fits all. Not every estrangement is because of a bad parent, because of abuse.
Mhm.
There's other factors, and I don't think these specific people want to hear that. They
Yeah.
have one agenda and that's it, one narrative and that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm not there for them. I'm there for the people that want to like that say I went through that. I want to be there and be like you're not alone.
Hmm.
I understand what you're going through.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And I mean, I just want to give you props for that because
Oh,
it
thank
does
you.
it takes such courage to put yourself out there. And with people behind, hiding behind a keyboard and saying, "Oh,
Right.
it's whatever." I mean, I get hate from the other camp
Yeah.
that, continues to say things about me talking and speaking out about things. And it's like, I
Don't,
really
right. Don't watch it then.
yeah, don't watch it, don't be a part of it, don't,
And,
um and it's just it's like everybody has a right to have their own voice and their own truth and
exactly. And I don't like the fact that a lot of them bring up sides. I'm not on a side. I'm just telling my truth.
hmm yeah, yeah,
And I don't have hate for that. I have, okay, that's their story. If you want to tell me your story, then go on your platform and tell me your story.
right, right, yeah, yeah. um what else was I going to say? Something about there's so many common like misconceptions about how estrangement happens and stuff like that. like we talked about abuse, like, oh, what did you do to your kid that
Right,
made
right.
them turn against you and the hate and all that kind of stuff. And so is there any other misconceptions that you can kind of think about that you've dealt with or that people will write you or say something about it or that they just are like, that's so weird that you don't have contact with your child and.
Just right. Well, I wasn't listening. I didn't get her vibe.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have estranged from me if I listened more. That was another thing. I wasn't listening to her. I listened to everything. She didn't tell me anything. I'm
Mm,
not a mind reader.
right. Right.
It's mainly the abuse, the I'm not listening, the I'm trying to think of a few others. They're really stuck on the abuse, I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a narcissist. That was it.
Oh, I think that's I always think it's so funny when people call
They're usually the narcissist.
someone a narcissist. It's like the buzzword of the
Yes,
century is like, oh, they're a narcissist or
yes.
whatever.
So,
But someone who has not spent time in a psychology class or
right,
doesn't have their degree in psychology or whatever
right.
it is,
Thank you for diagnosing me.
yeah, thanks for diagnosing. You have no idea what the criteria is or
Right.
what's going on there. So calling someone a narcissist is just really like projection. I don't know,
Yes,
but
yes. Changing the narrative to fit
yeah,
theirs.
yeah, it is.
Uh,
And so I think it's always laughable because that's what happened to me. It's
I
like,
understand
oh,
that
you're a
completely.
narcissist. And I'm
Yes,
like, okay, so show me, tell me how you came to
that's,
that
and
conclusion.
they can't. They can't.
No, they can't.
They can't. They'll
So
just come
spend
back
some
with,
time, yeah, spend some time getting a degree and going to, and find out what the criteria is of a narcissist, see what the patterns are, and then come at somebody and say that.
right.
But I challenge you to look at your own self and see,
Right.
what happens there.
Like,
Um,
like I should own what I did. Own it. That's what another one own it. I had like
mm,
I feel like I have owned it.
right,
I,
right.
I you know, so
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. It's like, tell me what I did. I
and
said I'm sorry.
yes,
And I take full responsibility. But if we can't get past it, then that's on you. That's you making a choice of not being able to move past something,
right.
and I give you all the space that you need. I hope that one day we can connect and I will always keep a door open.
Yes.
But other than that, like there's nothing more that you can do in order to repair something that, you know, someone isn't willing to help out. Relationships
Exactly.
are two
And
people working at it.
another misconception to me is that divorce doesn't automatically equal estrangement. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right,
it does. Oh, because somebody mentioned that. Oh, well, what about the divorce? Well, okay, people get divorced all the time.
right, right. Marriages end all the time. Yep.
Right. Do you think I got married to get divorced? Like, no.
Right, right.
But doesn't mean my daughter, like, I need to be punished and she needs to, like, end it with me. So
Mhm.
that was another big one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get so many different people that think that they know your life or lived inside your dynamics and have it all figured out. And you
And
know,
they're like, right. And well, you post it all on social media. I'm not posting personal things. I'm
yeah,
posting generic, like my story.
right. Like you're getting a fraction, like a
Yeah.
1% of my story.
Yes.
Um, so looking back, what would you tell the version of yourself who was just starting this journey? Like take yourself all the way back and you're just going through the very beginning stages of estrangement. What kind of advice would you give to your younger self?
Myself, my
Yeah,
younger
your
self.
your
Um,
baby self of before
to
all this started happening.
just to hold on that I'm going to survive and
Yeah.
I'm not crazy
Yes.
and I'm stronger than I realize.
Right.
That's exactly what I would tell because I didn't see this coming at all. Like, I just can't believe I survived it to this point.
Yeah. This week I listened to a podcast. I'm a real big podcaster
Hmm.
person. And I listened to a podcast with Madonna in it,
Hmm.
and she was being interviewed, and she talked about, going through a really bad custody battle with her son and how she was so close to her kids. And when this custody battle started, the child was pulling away from her and going with dad, and how she just was so distraught and so messed up over it and could not function, and she had to do all these shows and people were expecting so much from her, and she was like, how in the world am I going to get through this?
Right.
And then she studies Kabbalah and things like that, but one of the things that she said is like, I wish that I was less reactive and more trusting in the universe or God or
To
whatever your
let
higher
it
power,
play out.
that to be able to see 10 years down the road or 15 years down the road of when now my son is my best friend.
Right.
But at the time,
It felt like she was
it felt
losing.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And that may or may not happen, for either one of us or the
Right.
people that are watching or whatever who are dealing with the same thing. But I thought that was really interesting because we put so much focus on right now, right?
Right.
We have to get it fixed right now. And why is this happening? And spending so much time,
Damage control.
yes, doing damage control, doing like the therapy and wondering why and blaming ourselves and spending our time in this turmoil. And instead of just saying, like turning it over to God, turning it over to higher power
Yeah.
and saying, what lesson is this teaching me? Is
Right.
what
It
is
has
this
has to teach us something.
right? Like what is all of this grief, all of this sadness that you carry, what is this teaching me? And I think the biggest takeaway for me has been the fact that like focus on yourself, like build into yourself. Like I went back and I am got my degree. I am in graduate school now, and I wrote a book.
Oh, that's great.
I started a podcast, and these were things that I would not have been able to do.
Exactly. If you were still back in that headspace, that
Right. If I was
right.
still in that victim mentality
Yeah.
of, woe is me, how, this is
Pity.
awful.
Like we all have our pity parties at some time,
Oh,
but
absolutely. And you can have them, I mean, on any given day. I mean,
exactly.
it hits you, from, you think that you see a child out in the world that looks like yours, and then that sends you into a
Exactly.
crying spell of like how, like
Exactly.
you miss the conversations that you have. So it doesn't go away, but I think that it changes form in a way of, love is unbreakable. Like you can do whatever you want, but the love that you have for your children is unconditional. When they say, it's unbreakable, unshakable, unconditional. And, time, space, person, influencing whatever is happening, that just is like one of those things of, you cannot take away something that I carried in my body.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
mean
a part of you.
yeah, it's always a part of you, and it's never going to be, no matter if right now we can't be together for whatever reason, we can't connect the dots, we can't, we're in left field and right field, and we just
Doesn't right. You're still gonna love your child.
yeah, no matter what, the love is always there,
That's how I feel. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's not even a question.
Hmm. And I think, I mean, and I do think that there are those rare exceptions where there are people that go through this that have been completely
Oh, I agree.
annihilated from
Oh,
the
yeah.
inside.
Like
And
they
they,
just can't even chance it.
no, they can't even chance it because the hurt is so painful. I mean, time and time again.
And I understand, I completely
Oh,
understand
I
that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like you get it. You understand that you don't want to keep putting yourself out there for hurt.
They don't want to gamble on it. I mean, like I said, I have no idea if she came back what that looks like.
Right.
I don't, I used to be very a planner. Like I planned, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I've learned to just live every day
Yeah.
because I don't know. I just don't know.
Right. Right.
That's one way it has definitely changed me when I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Diana, I just want to say thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing your
thanks.
courage today and telling your story, putting it out there, and continuing to create the content that you're creating on these platforms and things like that.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, where do people find you? Where's a good place for people to connect with you?
On TikTok, official Diana HQ,
Okay.
and I haven't gone any further than that.
Okay. Well, great.
I
I
plan
mean,
on doing Instagram next, so or Lemonade, I think it is.
okay. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
I'm not even familiar with
right,
lemonade.
that's what I'm hearing. Everybody's saying Lemonade, but I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that there's value in what you're doing, and I'm sorry that you've had to go through such pain, but I'm finding as we're doing these podcasts, it's been really kind of eye-opening to see how people are taking their pain and turning it into purpose.
And
And I keep
positive,
saying that,
right?
yeah, I keep saying that over every podcast that we do. I'm like, gosh, you're taking, your pain that feels so heavy to
And
hold.
doing something good with it, like a
And you're doing
purpose.
right, you're
Yeah,
doing something. And it's kind of like the Me Too movement. I mean, in some ways, like
right,
people are coming out of the shadows and saying, yeah, my child's not spoken to me in 10, 15 years or,
right.
whatever. And so I really do. I appreciate the courage that it takes to put yourself out there and for
Thank you.
joining me today on Stronger Roots. And so just for our listeners, just continue to check us out, see what we have going on. Our website should be up in the next week or so and more podcasts to come. So thank you so much for joining us today and take care.